Hi, Arvin Poole here, founder and CEO of Open Sesame. I would like to welcome you to this training tonight where we cover how to set up your multi-streaming on OBS. We will go over Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, as well as introducing you to Restream.io, which allows you to do multi-streaming. So get your notepad, your pen, sit back and relax. If you have any questions, make sure you reach out to me after this training. Enjoy.
So the very first thing, and this is where you're going to need to really go out and research some of these things on your own. But what I will be sharing with you is a lot of the resources. Okay, and so what we're going to cover tonight is strictly OBS, getting started on OBS. But there are some prerequisites. There are some things that you're going to need to have in place before you get OBS up and going. Okay. One thing you're definitely going to need if you are periscoping and you want to periscope via OBS, you're going to need Periscope Producer. Okay. You're going to need Periscope Producer. So I'm going to be dropping links in the comment section so you can take those with you and start utilizing these links right away. So the first thing we're going to do is on your phone. In fact, I'm going to show you. Let me stop sharing my screen real quick. All right, so going back to these are some links I'm just going to drop into the comment section here. And one is OBS Quick Start. Let me kind of go over what OBS is. So basically, OBS in a nutshell is nothing more than it's a software that allows you to live stream. Okay, so if you want to actually go to the link where it actually introduces what it is, you can just go to obsproject.com, but bookmark this link here as well, obsproject.com/wiki. Anything that you need around OBS is going to be in these two links right here. So this wiki page has the quick start link, it has the studio overview, it has your troubleshooting guides, and I'm actually going to go through this tonight so that you don't have to read all this stuff. But if you ever need to reference anything that I have gone over, here is where you will go. Okay, and I'm going to break down some of the technical terms into try to simplify that for you so you can actually see these in action. All right, so under the overview, let's go to the overview page. It gives you a quick overview of all the settings, which we'll go through tonight. How to change your theme, your stream settings, your output, your audio, your video, your hotkeys, your advanced, your scenes and sources, which we will also go through, everyone. And then as well, we'll hit some more design aspects of creating your scenes, and I'll go through that as well. All right. And then if we scroll back up, let's go back again and let's click on, there's one more thing here, is your troubleshooting guide. So if you have technical issues like drop frames, your buffer is, your stream is lagging, you're not getting, you're getting a black screen. This troubleshooting right here is the link to kind of answer some of those. And this typically is because either one, your bandwidth is too low, your internet is too low, or secondly, you just don't have a strong enough computer. If you have a very old computer, you may not have enough RAM to do that, okay? So anyone have a question? Let me go back here real quick, make sure. Any questions? Nope, okay, let me keep going. So anyway, let's get to OBS, everybody. OBS looks like this, all right? So we're gonna go through each of the settings. Now, keep in mind, there are specific settings for Periscope.tv that you're going to need from the phone. Okay, so if we were to go back to my phone, as I mentioned, if you go to your Periscope app, go to settings, then go to Periscope Producer, there's going to be two settings in here that you're going to need. It's the server URL and the stream name. Okay, and remember that, the server URL and the stream name. That should be in your app already. I don't think you need to apply anymore, is what I heard, but I may be wrong. So, in fact, let me ask the question. Has anyone not applied for Periscope Producer, but you have the Periscope app on your phone? That is a question to everyone in the group. So let me go back over to the chat system or to the chat window here. Anyone has Periscope on their phone but does not have Periscope Producer? Because if you, I did not apply, but I have used it. Okay, all right. So KT, the reason why I have already applied for it, but I'm not sure you have applied. Okay, so Nikki, can one of you have both? Okay, can someone check their phone and go to your to see if Periscope Producer actually shows up on your phone? It may not be there yet until your application, until Periscope Producer is approved. The reason I'm asking this is because I got this like over a year ago, and so they may have just granted everyone access, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I use Periscope Producer, it shows up. Really? Oh my God. Okay. So Sharon, you haven't applied for it, but you see it in the app? It's under my settings. I have the Soria and stream. Okay, got it. That's what I wanted to make sure. So you don't have to apply, everyone. Okay, I told you wrong yesterday because when I came in when I actually started using this, you had to apply for it. It's under my settings. I have the server URL. Everyone, okay, wonderful. I got a message today from Help Desk, and they said they no longer. Boom. All right. So please disregard everything I told you yesterday that you need to apply. That is totally irrelevant. Okay. So that's my mistake because I didn't know that. So let's now assume that everyone has the server URL and stream name. Okay. Yep. Wonderful. Thank you for letting me know that. All right. So let's go back over to OBS, everybody. And what I want to do is go through each of these settings. Okay. So this is OBS. And before we go to the settings, let me go ahead and share with you, close out my camera here. Before we go through the settings, what I want to do is share with you some things that that you can really take full advantage of when it comes to OBS. All right. One is you can set up multiple profiles and scene collections. So here's what I like about OBS, and I haven't done this specifically yet. I wanted to wait until the training. So under OBS, you'll have a few things like your preferences. Under File, you can actually do recordings, and I'll show you how you can start your recordings and how to set those up. Under Edit, you have different settings, but really what I want to go to is your profile and your scene collections. Does someone have a question? I hear someone's audio on. Someone have a question? Let's go back over here. Someone have a question? Let's see who's on. Jackie, did you have a question?
I finally got where? I finally got on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep, you are live.
Oh my goodness. I finally got on. It just took me, I finally just got on. So I don't know where we are.
Okay, I'm really in the middle of getting ready to go over the OBS settings, but I'm gonna mute you, but if you have any questions, feel free to drop your question in the comment section. We are recording, so I'm gonna make sure everyone's muted, okay? Unless you have a question. Okay.
Sorry, Arvind, are we supposed to go into OBS?
No, well, I am doing the webinar training now. I'm actually, you should be able to see my screen. So this will be recorded for you to go back and use the recording to set up your OBS. Okay, awesome. All right, so let me get back into website, to OBS, sorry. There we are. Okay. So here we are, everyone. So let's go through a couple things here. One is your profile. Now, if you can see where I have landscape mode, portrait mode, and restream, the reason why this is so useful is because, you know, when you start, if you just stream from Periscope, you may have a Periscope profile, right? Or if you, let's see a chat. Yes, when I click on it, it shows, I missed that comment. Let me go back over here and make sure I'm paying attention to you guys. 1 second. 1 second. Let me see what you said here. What was that? Yes, when I clicked on it, it shows that I do have it. Wonderful, Sharon. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, so the thing with the, back to where I was, your profiles allows you to set up different profiles. So for example, if I click on profile and then go to portrait mode, what you'll notice is that this portrait mode is specifically set up for my mobile phone, and I created these settings in advance. Okay, so each profile will have its own settings. All right, and then let's say, for example, I want to go to my setup one. Setup one is completely different. Okay, now why would I need multiple profiles? Here's why you may need multiple profiles. One is, let's say, for example, if I'm multi-streaming, I've created a profile strictly for Restream. Okay, in fact, we're going to click on Restream, and what I want to do is rename this. So what I want to do is click on Restream, and let's rename this to multi-stream. And this is important. I may not want to multi-stream all the time, and I don't want to have to manually set these up each time. Okay, so we're going to change that profile name to multi-stream. In fact, let me put multi-stream and put in parentheses Restream. Okay, there we go. So that way I know which profile I'm using. Now, let's say, for example, I only want to do one for Periscope, only for Periscope. All right. So we're going to create a profile specifically for Periscope. That way I can switch back and forth between the two profiles. Okay. So let's click new. All right. And we're going to call this profile Periscope. All right. I don't have to put Periscope only. I'll just put Periscope and click OK. Now, once I create that, where I have that profile set up, now I can edit that profile specifically. Okay, so if we change anything while it's on Periscope.tv, it doesn't affect my restream. So now let's introduce settings. So under settings over here to the right, each one of these I'll go through in detail of what you need to put in here and how it needs to be set up. So under general, you don't really have to mess with anything here. Everything is pretty much default. You just pretty much leave this as is. The big one here is going to be stream, all right? So remember the URL and the key that you were provided in your app. This is where that goes, okay? And we have to also make sure all the other settings that Periscope.tv provided us are also in here, and we'll go through that in detail, all right? So under streaming services, we want to click on custom streaming server, and then right here under the URL, this is where you need to have your URL. Now, as I mentioned, everyone, you can get this information directly from your app, your mobile app, or you can go to Periscope.tv, which I showed this to you yesterday. We're going to go to Periscope.tv / your username for Periscope, right? So you can actually log in to your Periscope via the browser, okay? So I want to make sure the audio, make sure I'm not turning on any live streaming. There we go. So over here in the top right of Periscope.tv, actually, before we do that, you have to click on the icon over here to the top left, and that will get you to your admin screen. Okay, so over here to the far right, you'll see 3 little dots right here. All right, we're going to click on those three little dots. Okay, and then under features, I think everything is in the app. I thought, there it is. Okay, here we are. So the RTMP URL, that this information here that's private just to you and your username will not be here, but all the other stuff that we need for your input key settings will be here, okay? And so I want to drop this link inside the chat box because this is another link that you can bookmark if you need to get to it right away. We're going to put that link right there, okay? So that link is the direct link to your Periscope Producer, parameters and your key settings, all right? So now that we know what those are, let's go back to our OBS, and I have to manually type this because guess what? I'm reading this from my app. So what you see in Periscope.tv in your app is your server URL. Your server URL will start with RTMP ://ca.pscp.tv, and it's going to be a colon, the number 80 /x. All right. And now your stream key, you should never show your stream key. You should never, ever, 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 ever show your stream key. All right. So in this case, if I were to show my stream key, everyone could access my Periscope channel. So now you should be able to see that I have my URL and I have the stream key. So we're just going to go ahead and click OK. All right. So now that we've clicked OK, I have my Periscope stream in. So we're going to go back to settings again because we also want to add more of those settings that I just shared with you. Let me close this window just a little bit for OBS. 1 second. Let me cancel out of this. And let's drag this in just a little bit so we can see the settings over here. There we are. So everyone, you're going to need those settings to put in your audio and all that other stuff, okay? So let's go ahead and go back to settings. Bring this over just a little bit. There we are. All right, so go back to settings. And right here, you'll see some things called bit rate, output resolution, encoder output, audio sample rate, keyframe interval. All those need to be set up properly, all right? So now that we have that, let's go to our output. And our output mode is going to be very, very important. Now, when I get to multi-stream, I'll show you how to set this up on multi-stream because you can actually cheat a little bit if you have a later model computer that has, higher resolution and it has higher performance. But if you're on an older computer, you want to keep the Periscope rate or the Periscope input, all right? So under output mode, there's a simple and there's an advanced, okay? So under simple is just going to have the streaming and the recording, okay? What we want to do, we want to go to the advanced setting, which is okay. You could do either one. But the reason why we want to go to the advanced is because we have 2 extra settings that we'll want to look at as well, which is recording and audio, okay? And I'll show you how to set those up as well. So under streaming, you'll notice that you have 4 different tracks here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have a rescale output, which I'll get to in a minute. I'll show you how to change that. You have what we call your bit rate. It's defaulted at 2500, but remember, if we're streaming to Periscope, we want to set this to 800 kilobits per second, all right? So we want to change this bit rate to 800, okay? Now, right here where it says rescale output, okay? Rescaling your output is very important because you want to make sure that your output is not the size of your screen, but the output that Periscope recommends, all right? So over here, you'll notice that they have an output resolution of 1280 by 720 for a higher resolution. Let me click on this over just a little bit. Close this window up. Oops, missed that out. There we go. And let's go back to OBS real quick. So here you want to make sure that your rescale output is set for the 1280. So we're going to do the drop down here, and you'll see different settings here. All right. So the one that it says for best is 960 by 540. All right. Now you can also, if we were to go back to the simple, the reason why I'm showing you both is because the simple just gives you the basic setups. But what we want to make sure is that under the advanced, we're able to control some extra settings. So with the rescale output, it just forces your original or your native resolution for your computer. It downsizes it to a smaller setting. Okay. And when we get to video, we're gonna do something a little different. All right. I'll show you why that's important in your output. All right. So where it says rescale output, this is only
I'm confused though. What is the bit rate supposed to be?
The bit rate is supposed to be 800.
800. Okay.
Yes.
I mean not the bit rate. I mean the rescale output.
So this is only if your computer, like say for example, if your computer is at a resolution. So if we uncheck this, if we go back to our native, my native is 28. I think it's 2880. Let me put it back on what it was. I can't remember what it was on. Let me uncheck it.
Mine's at 960 x 540.
Yeah, and that's the reason why is that you're rescaling it down to what Periscope should be. Okay.
Okay.
Right. But I don't want to get into too much technical details. In fact, let me cancel this because I'm going to cancel and open settings back up again, because the reason why I'm going over this is really important for everyone to know. Okay. When you click to advanced mode, what it's doing is taking the resolution of your own computer screen. Now, the only reason you would click this rescale output is if you have you're not on a very high internet connection. And if you're not on a very high internet connection, but you have a very high resolution output, then you can scale this down to a smaller output, right? So that's the only reason I'm sharing this with you. But in reality, ongoing, you do not necessarily need to check this box because we're going to change that setting anyway under video, all right? The only reason I'm sharing this with you is for those who may have older computers, all right? So let's keep moving. Over on the recording tab, the recording here is standard. Now you can change the path of all of your different recordings. So here, my recording path is under users, MS user movies. But let's say, for example, I want to change that to a place in my, under one of my folders here. We're just going to put Open Sesame. I'll put media. And then I'm actually going to create a new, actually I have a folder called OBS, I think. Let's see, where is it? Let's go to Open Sesame. I want to say it's under content. Nope. Videos. Nope. It's under one of these. Content. Nope. We're going to create one. We're going to create one called OBS. All right. That's going to be a folder. And then under OBS, I'll just put here recordings. All right. That way, every time that I record, all of my recordings will go to that folder. Okay. And you can generate file names without the space. The recording format by default will be FLV, but can you direct it to an external? That's a great question. Yes, you can. So if you have an external drive or a USB thumbnail, you can definitely, it will definitely see that device as a storage device. And so you can direct it to that. Absolutely. Great question, Tracy. So for me, what I plan to do is make this MP4, and then I'm not going to mess with this. Let's see here. Can we use this for podcasting too? That I do not know. I have not done podcasting before, but that's a great question, and I will try to find out for you and get you some information on that. Okay. So we have everything here set up for our recording. And then for audio, the audio right now over here, if you look at your bit rate, so there's two things. You have your output, and then you have the actual audio, and I'll get to that in a minute. But your output, this is for going out of OBS, okay? So all of your settings here should match. So right here where it says audio sample rate, we want to put that down to 44.1, all right? So let's not change this now. I'll show you what's going to happen when we make modifications to the other areas. Let's go ahead and click OK, all right? And now let's go back to settings. And the next one we want to go to is audio. Now, audio is already at the sample rate of 44.1 kilohertz. You want to make sure you have this on stereo, not mono. Now, if you notice, I have audio two different audio devices. I have a desktop audio device for my output, which is I'm using a software called Soundflower, okay? So I want to talk about Soundflower in a few minutes, but not right this second. The second one I have is my built-in microphone. This is what I use. My built-in microphone is what I use from the computer. But I also have a separate microphone called Blue Snowball. And I'll show you how to make these settings default within your own computer. So if you have a Mac iOS, there is a tool that you can go to, and it's called MIDI Audio, MIDI Setup. And if you click on that, this is where you control all of your microphones and your speakers to create additional devices. You may have two microphones. You may have more than one output. So I have more than one output. I have an output for my computer itself, which is my speakers. And then I have an output within the computer. So if I want to play music and I want that to stream to OBS, then I need to set up a separate channel for that. And so there's software that you will probably need to install, which I use, Soundflower, okay? You might want to write this down. I can't go through all this in detail because, you know, there's a lot more to cover with some of these external software. But if you are on the Mac, there is you go to Sound, just type in Soundflower, all right? And Soundflower for Mac, right here, it's actually a free software. What about a Windows? Right, Sharon, I think Soundflower should work for, let's see, Soundflower should work. Let's see, Soundflower for Windows. I think they do have one for Windows. Oh, no, they do not. So there is another one, and let me see if I can remember. Yep, here it is. I want to say it's called iShowU. iShowU is another one. So let me go ahead and put iShowU for Windows. I think this is, let's see, iShowU for Windows. So unfortunately, everyone, I don't have a Windows computer, but there are alternatives to iShowU as well as for Soundflower. Okay, so if you're on a Windows system, unfortunately, I don't know the software for Windows because I don't have that computer, but you can easily Google audio software. I would Google audio software for Windows, and you can even put in OBS. That might get you some very specific how to capture audio, right? So there's a lot of questions in here that were asked within the OBS support window. So that will get you those questions. I can't go through that in detail. That'll take up the rest of the training. But for those, I'm just going to kind of go through Soundflower real quick on the Mac, so you'll see how I set this up. So when I downloaded Soundflower, what Soundflower allows me to do, it allows me to, let me see if I can find it on my apps. 1 second. Let's go to Finder. Let's go to Applications. It should be in here. Soundflower. Let's see here. Soundflower. So I have it installed, but the application doesn't seem to be appear as an application on my computer for some reason. I don't see it on here. But if you, we can do a tutorial real quick, and I'll show you basically how it's set up. Soundflower for Mac. And let's go here to tutorial real quick. So you'll see some YouTube videos on here. So what I plan to do is just pop some links in here. And let's go ahead and copy this link address. And let's put this right inside the chat window. That way we'll have reference to all of these later on, okay? So bottom line, when you watch these videos on these things that I'm setting up, the only reason you need Soundflower personally is if you're trying to use output from your computer. So that means music, it could be, you want to play your PowerPoint, you want to play some audio, you want to replay an application. All of that needs to be done through a third-party software for Mac. Now, Windows may not need it. I'm not sure. I know some of the newer computers, all that is built in. So that's really the only reason you would need Soundflower. Now, if we go back to OBS, you'll notice that right here, I have Soundflower installed, and that's going to be the default audio device output for my system, but I can change that in OBS before I start a stream. And then right here, I have the built-in microphone, but my default is going to be Blue Snowball, all right? That is going to be this microphone that you always see me talking into. If you can see my, right here, this is my external microphone. This is my Blue Snowball, all right? So I have this always defaulted as my microphone, all right? So the other thing with audio is all of these other settings here are optional. You don't have to mess with any of those. The next one is your video. Now, this is where it's really important. Your video, by default, remember right here on the output, when I said that you can rescale your output, if you don't rescale it, here's what's going to happen. It's going to take your original native resolution of whatever computer you're on, which for me is 2880 by 1800, okay? But that's fine. You can leave that here, or you can change you can downscale this, rescale this to a lower resolution. What that does, it just takes all the strain off of your computer. So if you find yourself lagging, you may want to rescale the output down to a lower resolution, and then go to video output and change your output scale resolution. So what this just says, this is what my computer shows. This is what your viewers will see. So right here is where we want to make that change to, we want to go down to 960 by 600 for Periscope, okay? So let me go back over to the browser, which has the settings for Periscope. Let's see where that is. 1 second. Where is it? Where is it? Oops, let me close my window down just a little bit. There we go. So let's see, where is it? There it is, right there. So as you can see in the settings, you'll see right here where it says output resolution 1280 by 720 for high resolution, or 960 by 540 for best low latency. You can actually cheat with 1280 by 720 if you have enough like I said, firepower in your computer. So going back to OBS, right here, we're going to keep that at 960 by 600, okay? So let's set that at 960 by 700. Now, the other settings that we want to make sure is that your frames per second is set at 30, and everything else should be good to go. You want your downscale filter to stay on bicubic, okay? We will not go over hotkeys tonight. That's going to be in another, that's in my one-on-one trainings. This is when you really want to get, customize your settings. And then advanced, you do not need to touch any of that. So let's go ahead and click apply over here to the left. And now we have an OBS that's ready for Periscope, all right? Let's go back to settings and check out a few other things that I didn't go through. One is your, let's go back to video real quick. That's good. Oh, wait a minute, it didn't save. So this output should be 960. I don't know why it didn't save. Let's do that. Click OK. Make sure that's saved. Video, yep, okay, it did save that time, all right. Are those settings good for YouTube and no, Tracy. Actually, they are, but they're gonna be different for YouTube. So we're only doing Periscope for now. The reason why is that you want your Periscope has the lowest resolution settings. We're creating a separate profile for Periscope first, okay? So once we get all these set up, everyone, let's go ahead and click OK. And you'll notice, I'm trying to get this window out of the way. There we are. So up top in our OBS under profile, you'll notice that this is strictly for Periscope.tv, all right? Now let's say for restream, or if I want to multi-stream to YouTube and others, or I can create a separate stream just for YouTube. Let's say, for example, I don't want to do multi-stream. I just want to do YouTube. You click a new profile, and let's call this one YouTube. All right. Now, each time you have a profile that's dedicated to a specific platform, you should have this set up to only stream to that profile, okay, or to that live streaming platform. My Restream is for multi-stream, and you have to use a different third-party software, which is called Restream or some others, and I'll show you how to set that up as well. So for YouTube, everyone, you're going to click OK, all right? And then for YouTube, this is where you set up your YouTube. In order to go to the settings for YouTube, you need to go to whatever your YouTube, how do I get rid of this window here? It is in my way. So go to your YouTube channel, all right? And I'll show you how to find the settings in YouTube. So let's go to youtube.com/whatever your username is. And we're gonna go to live stream. How do I get to my, is it under
Creator Studio?
I think it may be under Creator. Yeah, it may be under Creator Studio. There we are. There it is. Got it. Creator Studio. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, so under Creator Studio, right here under live streaming, okay, you click on live streaming over here to the left, and you'll notice at the bottom, if you scroll down, you have this thing called encoder setup. This string key here, maybe I can copy it without revealing it. Let's see. Let's copy that without revealing it. Let's go back to OBS. There it is. Okay, let's click OK. Now let's go back to settings, make sure that it took, and it did, okay? And then if you notice that if we did a drop down, you'll see some other things that we'll go over in a few seconds is Restream.io, okay? So Restream is for your multi-stream, but you can also show more services. They have even more services than that. And the only ones I'm going over tonight are gonna be Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and then of course, Restream, okay? So with that said, let's go to our output. We're gonna change this output to advanced, okay? And the same thing, your recordings, if you wanna change wherever your recording folder is. Let's go ahead and put mine over here. And what else? Change this to MP4. And that is it. I will not check rescale. And then let's go ahead and click OK. No, let's click apply. Apply keeps you in the window. Let's go to audio. Everything else here is going to stay the same. Your video now is where you can change this here to 1280 by 800 for YouTube. Okay. And I wouldn't go higher than that. But if you have the, like I said, if you have the bandwidth, you can actually go all the way up to 1920. Okay. Remember, your 1152 by 720, you'll see on YouTube where it says 720p. That is this 1152 by 720. Or you may see 1080. That's going to be your 1728 by 1080. Now, if you are only streaming to YouTube and YouTube only, then you can get away maybe with setting these settings at 1080p. But I like to keep mine right at about 1280, okay? And then for your frames per second, it's recommended that you have that as well. You can cheat a little bit and go to 60 and get away with it, but split it down the middle and do 30, all right? And then your hotkeys and your advanced, just leave those alone. Click apply, and let's go back to OBS. When you click apply, it closes it out, unfortunately. See? Oh, it actually crashed on me. I didn't know that. Okay, so let's go back to profile. Let's make sure YouTube settings have saved. It's because I'm doing this conference and I'm also setting this up. So that saved, that saved, that saved, that saved, and that saved. Now, let's do one more. We're going to do Facebook. All right, we're going to do Facebook, and we're going to do that by itself. I got to speed up because this is getting, this is actually, I need like 90 minutes in this training. So let me go ahead and show you how to set up Facebook. Under profile, we're going to go new. I'm going to create a new profile called Facebook. All right, click OK. Now, here's how you know what you need to set for Facebook. Let me give you the link where you need to go to create your live stream. There's a support page here that I bookmarked, and it is facebook.com/live/create. Okay. So with that said, let's go over here to the chat window, drop this in. There we are. Bookmark that link, because this is the link that you can set up your Facebook. All right. So before we do that, let me go back to another link. Where is it? Yep, here it is. So I just revealed my persistent stream key, which is fine. I can reset that. But once you get here, here's what you need to do. For Facebook, Facebook's a little tricky. They have a little bit more controls on their streaming. So there's a setting on here that's very important. So here's your server URL. You want to make sure that you copy that, okay? Come over to OBS, right? So make sure your profile is on Facebook. There we are. Let's go back to settings. And under stream, under service, I don't think Facebook is listed. All right. There it is. I'm sorry. It is listed. Boom. They added it. Okay. I didn't know it was there. So you don't have to go do custom. Just click on Facebook Live. And then the server should be by default. Okay, so you don't have to worry about doing the server again. And then for the stream key, go back to your Facebook. And let's copy this stream. Now, here's the thing, what you want to do, everyone. So there is a checkbox right here. This is very important, very, very important. When you come here, this is going to be unchecked. Persistent stream key allows you, if you uncheck this, every time you run Facebook, you have to come in and do this step over and over and over again. But if you check mark this, this now allows you to reuse the same stream key with multiple live broadcasts, okay? So make sure that this is checked to enable persistent stream key. Let's go ahead and check that. Copy our persistent stream key, come over here, put that in, and let's click OK. Now, our stream key is in, we're set for Facebook. Our output for Facebook, they actually have all the settings right here on this page for you. So let me go backwards. I think I can, let's see your settings. Let's go to settings and then live video. Let's see here. Where are those settings? Settings for Facebook. Where did I find those settings for Facebook? So in Facebook, you can go to support and type in, I want to say Facebook live settings. And then you can put in RMTP. And I think it will give you all the settings you need. In fact, let's do it here. RTMP. There we are. How do I set up streaming software to work with Facebook? And there it is, right there. So this, let me go ahead and copy this link, put this inside the chat window. It's not a user-friendly link, but it will get you directly to this article. So here you want to click on Open Broadcast Software. Oh, there's the direct link. Let's give you another link here instead of that one. So this link goes back to OBS, okay? And so at this link, I already had this open and didn't realize it. So right here are the settings you need to set up for Facebook. Your video resolution should be maximum 720p, which is 1280 by 720. Resolution at 30 frames per second. Your keyframe interval of 1 every 2 seconds. And I forgot to go ahead and make sure those were checked as well for Periscope and YouTube. And then your max bit rate is 4,000. So let's go ahead and collapse this window. Let's move it over. Let's go to our OBS and make sure we have all of those set up properly, okay? The streaming bit rate will be set to 128, which is the upper limit for the current streaming if you're sure you want to go above 128. So we're going to change all this in a few minutes. We're going to go to, let's go to our audio, or video, I'm sorry. And then under output, it says up to 720p, which is already set at 720. Let's go back to our output up here. And our bit rate right here, we need to change our bit rate, okay? So let me go back to our window here. Actually, you know what? Let's see if I can click OK and close this out a little bit. Just like that, so I can see the settings. There we go. Now let's go to settings. And let's go back to output. And so this bit rate, everyone, should be at, it says max bit rate is 4,000. Interesting. So we can actually increase this bit rate to 4,000. Okay. And we want to make sure that our keyframe interval, that's going to be under our, I think it's going to be under our video. So let's go under video. Nope, should be under output. Where's the key? Where is it? Oh, here it is, keyframe interval right here. So we want to change this keyframe interval to it's going to be 1 of every 2 seconds. So we want to set this to 2, okay? That's what we need to set. And I forgot to set this for Periscope, by the way. And then the other one here is a 240-minute maximum length. And then everything else should be the same. Let's go ahead and click OK. And now I have Facebook, I have YouTube, I have Periscope, and now we need the last one. We have 1 minute. So I'm going to try to get to the multi-stream. So if you wanted to switch out to either one of these, you can say, hey, I want to stream only to YouTube. Make sure your profile is on YouTube. If you want to stream to Facebook, you put it on Facebook, it streams to Facebook. Now, let's say I want to stream all at one time, so I don't have to keep streaming and going back and forth. So now you're going to need to sign up, and this is what I recommend. There are many other ones out there, but sign up to a software called Restream.io. Restream.io, okay? It's free, except for the with the exception of Facebook. You can add Periscope and YouTube, but if you are adding Facebook, you've got to pay $14.99 per month. Okay, so I just added this under a demo license strictly for this for this training here to show you how to set this up in Restream. So let me go ahead and put that link inside of the chat window so you can have that as well. There we are. And let's go back over to our Restream. So Restream is pretty cool, everybody. Restream is simple. Basically, it's a software application that allows you to multi-stream. And when you set this up for the first time, basically what it's going to give you is an RTMP URL and a stream key. Or we should all be familiar with RTMP and stream key. That is your Restream URL and stream key that you're going to put in OBS. So let's go back to OBS. And so we're going to create another profile called Restream or multi-stream. I've already created it, so you can see my settings. Let's go to settings for my Restream. If I click on stream, you'll notice that my service is on Restream. My server that I'm using will be Dallas, and the stream key is the same stream key right here. So you'll notice that my RTMP URL is going to be on US Central Dallas. The stream key here, I copied that and I put that directly inside of my OBS, which is here. Okay. Now, here's the trick, everybody. I'm going to wrap this up in 3 minutes. Okay. Here's the trick. The trick is you have to make sure that your output, whatever you're going to be multi-streaming, you want to use the lowest setting. Now, what I have done, everyone, I have cheated a little bit for Periscope. All right. So if you notice, I'm using Periscope's bitrate for Restream. I'm also putting the keyframe. This keyframe should be 2 on Periscope. In fact, let's go back to make sure that our Periscope setting. Yes. Hello. Someone's getting my attention. Any questions? Nope. All right, I'm wrapping up, everybody. I know you're ready to get off of this this training, but let me go ahead and wrap this up. Okay. So it's really important that in your Periscope that your keyframe is at 2 seconds. Your encoder output is at X264. But right here, you can cheat a little bit. Now, remember I said for best low latency, you can use 960. But for your multi-stream, go ahead and pop that up to 1280 by 720 for your multi-stream. Okay, so let's go back to OBS. And so right here in video, see, you notice I have 1280 by 800. You can put 1280 by 800, or you could put 1152 by 720. That's going to give you the 720 resolution, or you can just set it at 1280. Okay, that's what I have it at. But your frames per second needs to stay at 30. Your audio needs to be at 44.1. Your channel needs to be at stereo. Your output for your recording, remember, I got the wrong recording path. Let me change that recording path. Got everything going to another folder. So let's get out of there. Put that all over here. There we are. And let's see what else. Recording format is MP4. And everything looks good. Let's click OK. So now, everyone, I have just showed you how to set up. Wow, my OBS keeps crashing because this Amazon Chime is running my computer like fire over here. It's hot. My system is very hot right now. So let me go back to OBS, everybody. Reopen that. And under profile, you'll notice that we have Facebook, I have multi-stream, I have Periscope, I have portrait mode, I don't worry about that one, and then I have YouTube. So if you want to start your multi-stream, everyone, you got to make sure inside your Restream, let's go back to Restream real quick. how to get rid of that. Let's go back to Restream. So you need to add your channels. So under here, you add your channels. So let's say, for example, if you want to add Periscope, once you click add channel, it has all these different channels, right? And so I already have Periscope added, but let's say you didn't have it. You click Periscope, all right? And if I had another user ID, I could set this up, but I would have to pay for that. So let's say I add Periscope, and you'll notice all of my settings are right inside Periscope. So you basically are just logging in and into your Periscope profile. Same thing with YouTube. So when you add YouTube, your YouTube will be the same settings. And you know, once you click one of those live streaming platforms, it'll be very self-explanatory on what you need to add. And then of course, Facebook, you have to pay for that one. But again, you're doing the same exact thing. You're putting in your RTMP URL and your stream key, because this is a custom setting and it's not listed as one of the channels that Restream adds, all right? But for Periscope and YouTube, it's the minute that you click add channel and go to YouTube, it will just basically say log into your account, and it will grab those settings for you, all right? Now, what I didn't cover tonight, which I wanted to, was going over scenes and sources. And unfortunately, I didn't realize it was going to take this long to get through all of this, but I will consider doing a second training for part 2, which will then go through your scene and source setup. Okay, so let me go ahead and stop sharing the screen here. And let's get back to
question.
There we are. Somebody had a question?
Yes, I do. But my question is, are we able to download our videos now to our computer? Like say, like, what is it, MySpace, it died and everybody's videos died with it. So are we able to do that with this program?
Keep in mind, OBS does not keep your storage on your computer. I mean, it has nothing at all to do with, so basically your native Periscope, Facebook, and YouTube's, right? YouTube, you're recording on YouTube. You can download all of your YouTube recordings onto your computer, right? For Facebook, I think you can also download your Facebook Lives onto your computer natively. Periscope, you can set up in your app that every time that you end your Periscope, that you can download that to your phone. Now, the difference with OBS is recording what it's displaying on your screen, okay? So whatever's coming through from your Periscope or from your YouTube, or for whatever live streaming platform that you're actually using to go through OBS, OBS records that within its software and it stores that on your computer. So to answer your question, if you're using OBS, as long as you are recording and you have recording settings, in fact, let me share my screen one more second, and we got to get out of here because I hate being late. I really do. So let me click on OBS and I will show you. Remember, we were setting up all of our settings. One thing that I set up was the place where all of my recordings will go. So right here, when you start your stream, so for example, if I were to start a stream under, let's say, Periscope right here, I'm going to click on periscope.tv, all right? So right now, if I were to click start streaming, nothing will happen because you have to also go into your Periscope app and start it there, okay? But if you do this through Restream, if you change your profile to Restream, it will, and you click start streaming, it will actually start streaming without you getting any notice. That's what happened to me last night. That's why I waited 1 minute before I started talking, because when I was streaming from OBS with my multi-stream, which is Restream, it kicks off. It doesn't give you any notification because everything is going through Restream, not through like Periscope by itself or YouTube by itself. Everything starts on its own. So that's one thing you got to be very careful about when you kick it off a multi-stream. Your multi-stream is going to immediately kick off all of those other platforms that you have connected. Okay? Did that answer your question? Thank you for this too, technically. All right, let me get back over here, everybody. Let me stop sharing my screen and let me go ahead and what camera and lighting do you use? So Tracy, my lighting, you would be amazed. I went to IKEA and picked up me 2 lamps with the, they're the paper, with the paper tall stand. I use those on my table, but I'm using those right now for lighting over here. I don't have a studio set up just yet in my place, but I ordered lighting from on Amazon, and I'm waiting for that to arrive. My microphone, everyone, what I'm using, this is a called a Blue. This is the Blue Snowball. Blue also makes Yeti. So let me go ahead and put that in here. Blue Snowball, which is this is the entry microphone. The name of the company is called Blue, but Blue also makes Yeti. So Yeti is the more advanced microphone. I want a Yeti. So that is something I'll probably end up getting also in the next couple of months. And then once you get, more and more familiar and comfortable with your recordings, then you'll have to, obviously step up your production game. I have a YouTuber who swears by wax paper over. Oh, really? Okay, that's good to know. That is great to know. All right, everybody. So be on the lookout for another follow-up email. It will have a link to a downloadable software plugin that I think you will appreciate and love. And you will also get an offer, obviously. If this is overwhelming, you need some help. You guys know that I provide services. So here is I'm offering a cool little deal on my OBS services. If you go to opensesame.me/book-me, I have reduced my services for OBS from $125 down to $67. So that helps you get everything configured. It gets you set up. It gets you also a complete scene creation with my own software and my graphic application portfolio, so that you don't have to go out and buy all these different scenes. Or you can wait to part 2, and I'll give you a couple of free resources. But a lot of people say, Arvin, that's an overload. I just need somebody to do this for me. Scene creation is what you see when I go from one scene to the next on my OBS. So all those scenes are like setting up it's like a TV show, right? When they go from one camera to the next, that's what you're doing. You're creating those different scenes. So that is all included in my service offering. And when I do service offerings for my one-on-one clients, I do everything. Yep, the graphics, everything, depending on what they want, transition. Yeah, like a boardroom scene. Exactly. My business growing up, when it hits kindergarten, you're the man. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. So that's my offer there. And right now I'm offering it just to you guys at $67. I've already changed the price there. And if you're interested, you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. That rate is only for the people who showed up tonight, who joined my session tonight, and those who are going to be on the email list. But normally that rate is $125, and so I spend an hour of my time with you and go through basically a one-on-one tutorial like what I did tonight. But we're also setting up your scenes. So if I were to click on this, All right, and now let's go to the page right here. So when you go to opensess.me, you'll see a cover here that says Let's Talk Automation. And then right here where it says OBS Setup and Integration and Training, this is where you can book the training here, okay? And we'll use Amazon Chime Web Meeting, but I also set up your scenes for you. You will receive a link to go out and pick whatever photography that you want, or if you want to consult with me to help you pick out, your background scenes, I'll help set those up for you and also create specific designs as needed. Okay, so there it is. opensess.me/bookme is the link. And let me stop sharing my screen, go back over here. There we are. All right. So you'll also get an email with more information on that and what all that includes and what it all entails. As far as I also help you get all of your settings optimized for highest performance based on whatever computer you have and your device. I also will set up your multi-stream for you if that's what you choose to do. If you're doing it on Facebook and YouTube, we'll get all that set up for you. All right. So that's it, everybody. It's 9:20. I went way over, but yep. Good night, everybody. And this recording, I'll send that out tomorrow as well, so you'll have the recording. All right. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Arvin.
See you later. Bye-bye.